Roadblocks or writer's block. I'm going to tell you a quick, realistic story on why writer's block really doesn't exist. What exists is the roadblocks. When you get to a story, you get to a difficult part, and you can't really figure out how to get past that part. Nothing's blocking your writing. It's just that this particular part is going to take a little bit of finagling, a little bit of figuring it out how you're going to do it. I deal with it all the time. But technically, there's really no writer's block. You just can't figure it out. So, let me get to the story right quick. So, I'm in Chicago. I'm not too far from my high school. And I was walking to a friend's house. On my way to my friend's house, I decided to take a shortcut, and I turned down this particular street. And when I turned down this particular street, where I thought I could cut over a block to get closer to his house, it was blocked off. And then I walked down another block, and then the area was blocked off again. I was like, man, what's going on? But at the same time, I was in a white neighborhood and I didn't know it, and there was some little girls. They was like had a front yard swimming pool or above ground swimming pool, and they started yelling to me that to get out their neighborhood. They don't want me here or whatever. But it was so close to my friend's house that I didn't quite understand why. Well, what was the trend? Like, I didn't understand how this could be that neighborhood. But as I continued to walk, I was getting deeper into the neighborhood, and then there was 3 white guys across the street, and they started throwing rocks at me. And so I had to make a decision, because every time I went down a block, the place that I was going to go to my friend's house was blocked off. It was like separated from the black neighborhood. It was completely blocked off. So I had to decide whether I was going to walk down the street and try to find a way to get through the roadblock, or was I going to come out of it and go around. So because I didn't want to go deeper into the neighborhood to that roadblock that I may not been able to get out of, but I'm not sure if I would have. I just didn't. I came out of that neighborhood. I came out back where I came in and took the long route. But the reason why I'm telling you that story is because I had to make a decision to try to get to the roadblock or come out and go in a different direction. That's all writer's block is. That's all it is. It's just figuring out how to get through the roadblock in your story that you have, or come completely out of it and go in a different direction. But there's really no such thing as writer's block. The story's there. You just got to figure out how to work your way through a certain part. I've been writing for years, and I still run into a particular part that makes me back away from the desk because I don't feel like thinking. I don't feel like thinking in that moment of really how I'm going to do this part or whatever. But eventually it always gets done, which lets you know it was never a writer's block in the first place, because you're going to eventually figure out how to get through a difficult part in your story, different situation. But you're going to have roadblocks. It's just going to happen in the story. How I handle a roadblock is just simply keeping my mind on that story. If I'm in the midst of writing a chapter and I get to a part where I don't know necessarily how I'm gonna get to the next part, I simply back away from the desk and I just start thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? I might fold some laundry and think about it, wash the dishes or think about it. Eventually, the more I think about it, the more I start to understand the best way to do it is, what makes the most sense. And a lot of people equate that to writer's block when you back away from that. Also, a lot of people use that as an excuse. You know what I'm saying? Writer's block is not real. Writer's block it sounds like a great thing to say, a great thing for a writer to say for the reason why they haven't been writing. You know what I'm saying? I've used the excuse, but really writer's block don't exist. It's just really about getting through particular roadblocks in your story. That's going to take a little bit more thinking, and a little bit more strategy than the rest of your story. And that's going to happen over and over and over again, so you're going to find those roadblocks. So the story about me being in this neighborhood, I had to decide on whether I was going to try to get to this roadblock or back all the way out of the neighborhood to get where I wanted to go. Same concept. The only thing about that concept, I didn't try to get through the roadblock because of where I was. But I still found a way out. That's my whole point. I still found a way out. The way out was the same way that I went in. Sometimes when you're writing a story, sometimes you have to go back to the beginning of a story to end the story. You have to bring everything together. So I just want you to think about things in that aspect. But there's no roadblock. Just my opinion. No disrespect to anybody, but there's no such thing as, there's no writer's block. I'm sorry. There's no writer's block, but only roadblocks, no writer's block. Understand that, and you'll have a much better time figuring out these roadblocks when you're writing a story. Peace, I'm D-Rebel. Like and subscribe to my page. Like and subscribe to my page. Promise you, you will get some of the best knowledge.